Well, hey there, guys. Welcome back to a brand new episode of the Webslingers podcast. This is the one and only show where we talk about all things Spider-Man and the Marvel Universe. And what a episode we got for you today. We're going to talk about the new episode of Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And we're going to talk about Venom 2 getting delayed by 1 week. We also have a new trailer to talk about that just dropped. And we got a few Q&A questions. We got like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, seven questions. So it's gonna be a very it might end up being a very short show. And my computer's not responding to any of the sites that I want opened. So we will just have to use the wonderful other little piece of technology called a tablet. um, um, this is why electronics are important for the show that I run. But anyway, so yeah, we're going to talk about a lot of things. But the first thing we're going to talk about is this. This morning, a new trailer for Marvel Studios' Black Widow has been dropped this morning. It is a very short trailer. It's a 2-minute trailer. Obviously the film, we talked about it last week. The film's going to be released on July 9th, 2021, and will be in theaters and will premiere both in theaters and on Disney Plus through Premiere Access. So, which we kind of assumed that would happen. Oh no, I exited out of YouTube again. Gosh darn me. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna break this trailer down. Just kind of talk about it. If you want to watch the trailer with me, you can. I am gonna start it. Wait, don't start it yet. All right. Ah. Okay, I'm at 1 second, guys. 1 second. All right. So in 3, 2, 1, and we're gonna play it right now.
You don't know everything about me. I've lived a lot of lives. Before I was an Avenger. Before I got this family. I made mistakes choosing between what the...
So they're really leaning heavy on the fact that this Black Widow movie, so obviously there are some people who aren't diehard MCU fans who are probably going to wonder, wait, didn't she die in Avengers Endgame? Well, what we have learned over the past number of months is basically over the 2 years that this movie's been and that's this movie's been talked about. um this is going to be a prequel that's set sometime in between Civil War and Infinity War. It takes place right after we leave off Natasha during Civil War, where she leaves. There's that great scene in Civil War where Tony looks at her and goes, T'Challa told Ross what you did, so they're gonna come for you. I'm not the one who should be watching their back. And she turns around and leaves. Great moment, by the way. But this movie is going to be taking place kind of after that point. So,
the world wants you to be.
But it's weird how they're showing clips from like Avengers Endgame and all that stuff. Because I'm sitting there going, wait, if this is a movie that takes place before Avengers Endgame, why are you showing everything that happened? Honestly, we probably know why they're showing it, just because Endgame is their most popular movie. Is Avengers Endgame is the most popular of all of the MCU films. It is one. It is the most popular. If it's not the most popular MCU movie of all time, it's one of their best. I think it's that movie and Black Panther are two of their biggest and most talked about movies are Avengers Endgame and Black Panther. Black Panther just because of its place in pop culture, just because of the fingerprint it's hit on pop culture. So it makes sense why they're showing clips from Avengers Endgame on here. Kinda.
I knew you were.
I don't know if it's gonna make sense in the story though.
We have to go back to where it all started. Where did you think I was all this time? We have unfinished business.
My girls are the toughest girls in the world.
So it looks like I know this was meant to be kind of like a family, but I'm starting to wonder if like David Harbour's character, Black Widow, Florence Pugh's character, and Rachel Weisz are all going to be like one. They're going to be like almost blood related relatives. I wonder if that's where they're going for. If they were all just kidnapped and turned into spies. Because honestly, I think that wouldn't be such a bad idea as if like the Russian government or something kidnapped this family and forced them and turned them into spies. Like that'd be a pretty interesting route. That's kind of my theory here, at least.
I'm sorry. We had our orders and we played our roles.
It wasn't real.
It was real to me.
To me,
You were everything.
Bring her home.
C'est pas ça. She's such a mom.
one thing's for sure. I'm done running from my past.
And of course, at the end of it says experience it in theaters or order it on Disney Plus Premier Access. So what do I think of this trailer for Black Widow? I like it. I like the trailer. It's not the best trailer that they've put out. I think the best trailer that they put out was I honestly really love that first trailer that they put out more so than any other trailer. I don't know. I don't know if it's just deep down personally inside of me that just has no interest in this movie just because I feel like it's just a little too late for us to have a Black Widow movie at this point. Like this is a movie we should have gotten in like phase 2 or maybe phase 3. I just don't know if I'm interested in seeing. Now, look, I may be completely wrong. This movie may end up being awesome. I mean, it certainly looks like it's going to be different. It looks like it's going to be kind of like a spy espionage thriller, which is something that I'm very excited about. But for me, I don't know. For me, I think I've just lost interest in it just because it feels 10 years too late. And maybe I guess I shouldn't feel that way, but I it's just how I'm feeling about it. So yeah, I mean interesting. But the really cool and interesting part about this is that is actually something that I was listening to just a little bit ago. I was listening to one of John Campia's companion videos, and someone had brought up that we're gonna get on July 9th we're gonna get Black Widow, and then in August we're getting James Gunn's Suicide Squad. Then in September we're getting Shang-Chi and Venom 2. Then in November we're getting Eternals, and then Spider-Man No Way Home is going to be in December. Like, the amount of comic book movies we're going to be getting just within this span in a few months here, it is crazy just how many comic book movies we're actually going to get. And we know most of them are going to come out, if not all of them. Like, Black Widow's coming out whether theaters are open or not, because it's going to end up on Disney Plus. James Gunn's Suicide Squad's going to be released on both HBO Max and in theaters. It's getting just like Black Widow, it's getting a simultaneous day and date release with both in theaters and on HBO Max. I think the only ones that are still aiming for theaters are Shang-Chi and Shang-Chi, Venom 2, Eternals, and Spider-Man are all supposed to still be theatrical released only. Now we'll see how long that lasts. But I will say I am excited for Shang-Chi though, just because it comes out like the weekend before my birthday, which is pretty exciting. So I'm actually pretty looking forward to that a lot. So, yeah. Anyway, speaking of Venom 2, let's talk about Venom 2 getting delayed by 1 week. The film will now be released on September 24th, 2021. And I have the Variety article pulled up here, but my computer was acting stupid. But the Variety... Wow, I was yawning while trying to talk. The Variety article talked about how gosh, I just had a brain fart. Okay, yeah, Venom 2. Sorry guys, I'm just so tired. The Variety article talked about how Venom 2 was being pushed back because it's trying not to, because originally it was going to come out on the same day as Death on the Nile, which is the new Kenneth Branagh murder mystery film, and Boss Baby, which I don't know why there's a sequel to that bag of crap, but anyway. But that's one of the reasons. That's the reason why it says in the article. I think for me, and this is just my general opinion. This might not be the hardcore facts. This is just my general opinion and my little theory. I think Sony pushed it back because they want to give Shang-Chi a little bit of space. Because honestly, who in the hell is going to go see Boss Baby other than parents who are going to be dragged by their whiny little brats to go see that crap? like who's out there going, oh yeah, I'm super excited for Boss Baby 2. I'm so excited for that bag of crap. Or Death on the Nile, that's I don't know if I don't think me personally, I don't think I'm excited for Death on the Nile just because Kenneth Branagh has kind of lost it for me as a director. Uh, I thought he did a really good job with Thor, but I think every other film he's directed since then has been kind of garbage, especially Artemis Fowl. But no, I think the reason why they pushed this is because Marvel probably went to Sony and said, "Hey, Sony, we had to push our movie back to September. Do you think you can push Venom back by 1 week just to give us enough space?" And I think because Sony and Marvel are so kind of closely together since they're teaming up to produce Spider-Man movies, I think Sony agreed to that and said, "You know what? No problem. We'll move Venom back by 1 week. That way, you get plenty of time. Shang-Chi gets plenty of time to grab it to earn the money it needs to earn, and then Venom 2 will come out just in time. Venom 2 is actually coming out just before not David. I almost said David Lynch. Denis Villeneuve's Dune. So Denis Villeneuve's Dune is actually coming out on October 1st. So I think, honestly, with all of those movies that are being just jammed packed in that fall movie season, I think Dune's going to have to move. Because I'm just going to say this right now. If Dune stays exactly where it is, it's going to be a financial flop. Because, Shang-Chi isn't a proven franchise yet. We don't know how well that's going to do. But Venom, the first Venom movie, let's actually, how much did the first Venom movie make? I know I know it didn't make $1 billion, but it made somewhere around that ballpark. Right? It made somewhere, I know it made somewhere around that ballpark. Trying to. Okay, so I have Box Office Mojo opening up here. I know it made somewhere close to $1 billion. If it didn't make $1 billion, it made close to that. Oh yeah, the first Venom movie on a $100 million budget, a solid $100 million budget, made a grand total of $856 million worldwide. So, with Venom doing that well, and for a movie that wasn't that's not a sequel. Like Venom is not a sequel. It was kind of the start of Sony's. I mean, I guess you could technically say that because I guess you can technically say Spider-Man Homecoming is the start of Sony's cinematic universe, even though that's a partnership with Marvel. Um, we'll just consider Venom the start of their cinematic universe, okay? For a movie like Venom, it being the start of their cinematic universe, it's not a proven franchise yet. Its run in theaters went from October 5th, 2018 to January 24th, 2019. It made bank during those few weeks. And in its second weekend, it only dropped by like 18%. And then like it kept making declines around October, but then closer to the October, I got it up here on October 12th, it went up it climbed right back up as and it, so even though there was a long period of time where it kept dipping, it kept going up. So it was able to make Sony a lot of money. And if the first movie, which at the time wasn't a proven franchise, Venom is, I mean, to the average moviegoer, nobody knew what Venom was. Nobody knows that Venom is. I mean, they might go, "Oh, he looks like Spider-Man," but they probably aren't thinking, "Oh yeah, he's the Spider-Man villain. He's that Spider-Man guy." No, no, no. They're probably not thinking that. Um, but one thing I will say is that if the first movie was able to make $856 million worldwide, that means the sequel is going to do even better, and it's going to make even more money, and it honestly will overshadow Dune, and Dune is unfortunately either gonna have to, one, push it back till probably like March, or stick to that release date and take the hit. Because unfortunately, Venom 2 is just gonna end up being a monster just because of that first movie doing so well. If that first Venom movie had flopped, then I would be like, okay, Dune has nothing to worry about. But no, that movie made $856 million worldwide. And people kept going back to see it again and again and again. Like, I went back to see it 3 times. Like I went to go see it a total of 3 times when it was in theaters. Okay? Like, and a lot of my friends were going back 6, 7, 8 times to go see it. So it's like, I mean, this is obviously, the second one is going to do better. It's going to do better than its predecessor. Now, again, I may be totally wrong on that. It may end up being a giant flop, but as of right now, I choose to believe that the sequel is going to do better. Now, one thing that a lot of people are asking, well, Zeke, this is coming out post-pandemic. I'm choosing to believe that the capacity that movie theaters will go up by September. Because we're getting vaccines rolled out. We're getting, yes, we're seeing an increase in COVID cases across the country, but overall, we are seeing more and more vaccines being rolled out. I think the movie theaters are going to stay at a 25% capacity, I would say, until September, until right around the time Shang-Chi comes out. I think once Shang-Chi comes out and then once Venom 2 comes out, they're going to raise their capacity and go up to at least 50% capacity. And then if we can get a few months afterwards, maybe they'll raise it to 75% capacity, and then eventually we will get to the point where they can be at full capacity. It's just going to take a while because of depending on how fast we can get, vaccines rolled out. And also, depending on when this whole lockdown thing will finally be over and done with. So, I don't know. It's a whole crazy thing we got to deal with, and unfortunately, because everything going on, it has affected everything going on in the world of Marvel, and yeah, it sucks. But you know what? It's not so bad. I guess it's not so bad. We're gonna get Black Widow on July 9th. And sooner or later, we're going to get Venom 2 in September. So, not too bad, not too shabby. So, all right. Let's go ahead and let's review the next episode of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So, Falcon and Winter Soldier episode 3 has dropped on Disney Plus. I have now watched it twice. I'm actually going to watch it a third time, probably tonight. But I think this is my favorite episode of the season so far. Now, this is actually the middle. This is actually we actually only have 3 more episodes after this. There's only 3 more episodes left, and it sucks that Falcon and Winter Soldier is already ending its run. But I love this episode. Now, this episode, obviously, the way last episode ended, Falcon and Winter Soldier, Sam and Bucky are going to get Zemo's help to catch whoever's recreating the super soldier formula, and that is kind of the plot line for this episode. Of course, I'm going to get into spoilers, so if you haven't seen Falcon and Winter Soldier episode 3, definitely watch it first before you hear this section. But let me just start with how bad effing ass Sharon Carter is. Holy crap. It's like after she was making out with Captain America in Civil War, it's like she, they establish in this movie that she disappeared and went off the grid, and and basically if she were to ever step back in the States, she'd be arrested. And I love the fact that Sam promises her to get her pardoned. But what I really want to talk about is that action scene involving her and those guys who are after Sam and Bucky for killing that one chick who I can't remember what she was, but like a prime minister or something, but I can't remember. But when she is in that whole action scene, first of all, was staged so perfectly, but the amount of violence that they show in this episode, she shoots a dude in the head, she stabs a dude in she throws a blade at a dude's shoulder, then she beats the crap out of one with a lead pipe. Like, it is so awesome to see her just kick so much ass in this episode. It was incredible. Like, just seeing that, and also seeing how, I don't want to say violent because it's not like it's blood, guts, and gore or anything, but it is for a Disney Plus show. It was pretty violent. Like, it was. I think it's honestly. I mean, I don't know. Captain America: Civil War got pretty rough. Like, that moment where freaking Cap is beating the crap out of Iron Man. I don't know. That was pretty bad. But anyway, I don't know. I guess Avengers: Infinity War when Thanos beats the crap out of him. I don't know. But anyway, it was honestly one of the most. That's one thing I took away from it, was how brutal the beatdowns were. But I gotta talk about my absolute favorite character from this episode, and that was Zemo. I loved seeing Zemo kind of in his role in this show. The trailers made it look like he was going to be the main villain, but it turns out he's kind of like, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. Zemo has a problem with these guys, has some kind of problem with these guys. So it's kind of become a thing where, the enemy of my enemy is my friend, Um and I love kind of like the mind games he's playing on both Sam and Bucky. Um I love when he tells Bucky, "Oh, you're gonna have to tap into that Winter Soldier." Um, I like that. I think it's really. I thought that was great. I'm trying to remember what else did I really like from this episode. Other standouts. Uh, well, I mean the chemistry between. Oh, you know what? Actually, what did stand out? We're gonna talk about the ending of the episode in a minute, but one of my actual other standouts was when Sam he's on the phone with his sister and he's like trying to play it cool. He's like, yeah, that dude's gonna die. He's like, and his, his sister's like, are you on drugs? And then he's like, um, and then she goes, give your brother the remote. And then he goes, hey, Sam, I gotta go. And then all of a sudden, who's Sam? Kill them. And then just all out violence starts. And of course, we got, the whole John Wick scenario where now every bad guy in the city is now after our main hero, which we saw in John Wick, but we also saw the same thing in The Mandalorian season 1. And now we saw it again in episode 3 of Falcon and Winter Soldier. But I love this episode, man, and the ending of this episode, seeing, oh, what's her name? Shoot, I'm gonna get so mad at myself because I'm pretty sure I do remember the character. Hold on, I gotta look it up now. Falcon and Winter Soldier episode 3. Trying to. Oh, come on. So. Okay, Florence Kasumba. She's actually the same woman. Believe, I want to say, she's the same woman who made her debut in in Captain America: Civil War. At least I think that was her. Yes, it was her. She was the same woman who made her debut in Captain America: Civil War. She's the one from that scene where Black Widow stands in front of her. He's like, "Move, or you will be moved." As entertaining as that would be, and I like that. And I like how she shows up. She's like, "Where is you helped Zemo escape? Where is he?" Which means, I believe, T'Challa is, now that he knows that Zemo's free, I think T'Challa is sent her to go get him. Now this brings up a lot of questions. Like one that we're actually going to get into in our Q&A segment. Are we going to see T'Challa, Chadwick Boseman, in this show? I am going to say no. Unfortunately, first of all, the show had gone through many production halts. because of COVID. And unfortunately, Chadwick Boseman died probably before they got back to shooting the series. Now, I don't know that for sure. Maybe they were editing the series when he passed away. But I don't know. I don't know if we're going to see him. I do believe we're going to see him in What If. I do believe we're going to see him in What If, and we're going to see him. We won't see him, but we'll hear his voice one more time in What If. At least I think he's confirmed to be in at least one episode of What If. Actually, let me see. Let me go to his IMDb and see if he's got any more credits listed. Because I know his last movie was Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, but I wonder. Just because I want to know if he's going to end up making an appearance in What If. So, hang on. Oh, come on. Chadwick Boseman, what if? Okay, yeah. So an article from Slash Films did confirm back in 2020. Kevin Feige confirmed it in that in an interview with Emmy Magazine, and talked about that. Chadwick Boseman came in about 4 times and recorded numerous episodes before he passed in August. So, let's see. However, due to the nature of Marvel's What If series, Chadwick Boseman won't be appearing as only Black Panther. Okay, yeah. So Chadwick Boseman is going to is going to be in the What If series. So we're gonna see him in that. As far as being in Falcon and Winter Soldier, I don't know. I don't think we're gonna see him in in the Falcon and Winter Soldier. I think we're gonna just see. However, I will say this though: if we're gonna see somebody else from Wakanda, and this is just my theory, I don't know if this is true. It's gonna be Shuri, because Bucky knows Shuri very well. Not just because she kind of helped him, but also there's a post-credit scene in Black Panther involving those two. So if anybody else shows up from Wakanda, it's probably going to end up being Shuri. Plus, I don't know if they just told Chadwick, "Oh, hey Chadwick, you want to come and shoot a scene for Falcon and Winter Soldier? I mean, we know you're sick, but do you want to do that?" I mean, honestly, I feel like that would be a little distasteful. I know they called him in to do a couple of. Well, I don't know. They might have. Here's the thing. I highly doubt Kevin Feige didn't know about, because somebody had to have known. I mean, if he didn't, then then wow, Chadwick Boseman really did not want anybody to know. But because I know Chadwick Boseman kept his illness a secret and didn't tell a lot of people. But he must have told Kevin Feige about the illness. I don't know. Maybe he didn't. I don't know. But anyway, so yeah, no, we got to see someone from Wakanda at the end of this episode. I don't know if we're gonna see them in next week's episode. But I will be pretty shocked if we do see anybody else from Wakanda. Maybe in a post-credit scene in the final episode. So, all right. But overall, guys, I love this episode. I'm going to go ahead and give Falcon and Winter Soldier episode 3, titled Power Broker, a 10 out of 10. That's a favorite episode of the series so far. So, let's go ahead and get into the Ask the Spider-Verse segment. This is the one and only part of the show where we take your guys' Q&A questions. So let's not waste any time. We are 40 minutes into this episode, so let's go ahead and let's get right into your guys' Q&A questions. So the first one we're going to start here is, what is your hype level for Black Widow? I am becoming more and more interested with it just because it's going to be the first MCU movie we've seen in a very long time. So that's one of the only things that's got me interested in it. What are the chances we see Chadwick Boseman in the MCU one more time? Again, we actually just kind of referred to this. We're going to see we know now that we're going to see him in What If. Or not see him, we're going to hear his voice in What If. So we know there's that. As far as anything else, I highly doubt there's anything else that Chadwick Boseman did before his passing. I don't believe there really is. So, all right. What do we call the MCU Spider-Man trilogy? That's a good question. I would say call it. You know what I'm gonna call it? I'm gonna call it the Spider-Man Home Trilogy or Homecoming Trilogy. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna call it. I'm gonna call it the Spider-Man Homecoming Trilogy. Because you can't call it the Spider-Man Trilogy just because there's already a Spider-Man trilogy with Sam Raimi's. So there's that. What were we talking about? Oh yeah. So here, let's go to the next question. Do you think D23 will be an online fan event like DC Fandom, or do you think Marvel Studios will start their own convention slash fan event? Well, Marvel's not going to start their own conventions. That's never going to happen. And the reason why that's never going to happen is because they have D23 and Comic-Con. So there's that. As far as D23 becoming a fan event, an online fan event, I don't know. It really all depends on what the state of the world is like. Because I don't think there is going to be a D23 this year. At least I don't know if there is. Let me bring that up. I think because I don't believe there's going to be. Will there be a D23 Expo in 2021? Oh, so they announced this way back in September of last year, but that they're going to move it to 2022, which is just in time for the company's 100th anniversary celebration. So, So yeah, well now we know there's not going to be a D23 this year, but there will be one next year. So there's that. Okay. Would you like to see the MCU create video games that are connected? No. I'm okay with no, yeah, no. Honestly, when it comes to the Marvel video games, I would like those to stay separate and just keep the game separate from the movies and TV shows because we already have so much stuff connected to the MCU. Now you're gonna add another thing in there. It's gonna end up becoming a real big mess, like the Star Wars canon is, because it's like Star Wars connects all these video games, movies, books, comics, and stuff like that, and it's like it's starting to become a mess with that. So yeah, I don't think we're gonna see it. Um, do you think they should reboot Inhumans? And if so, who should direct it? Well, for one, yes, I do think they should reboot Inhumans because that TV show is awful. As far as who I think should direct it, I was having this conversation with Robert the other day. I think John Krasinski would do a really good job. Either him or Gareth Edwards. I'd really love to see one of those two. Yeah, maybe one of those two do an Inhumans movie. I don't know. But as far as do I think they should reboot Inhumans? Absolutely. Because Inhumans was actually one, when they first announced that it was going to be a movie, I was really excited for it. Because I don't know, it's not like I know a lot about the Inhumans, but I know enough. I know who they basically are. And I know some of the lore that's involved with the Inhumans. And then they announced it was going to be a TV show, and I got intrigued by it just because of the fact that it was going to be from the same showrunners who did Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., which I love the first 3 seasons, which I love the first few seasons of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Kind of fell apart in its later seasons, but the first few seasons were pretty good. And I was really excited um, for Inhumans. And then I watched the first couple episodes in IMAX with Robert, and we were so excited coming out of it. And then I tried watching it afterwards, and I realized this isn't good. Something's wrong here. This is really bad. Why is this so bad? And I can't explain why it was so bad. So I don't know. It honestly just felt like a fan film, but in a bad way. Not in a because I like fan films. I actually do like watching fan films. Actually, they just released a Batman one, which I haven't seen, but I do want to check out at some point. But I like fan films. I like fan films, but there are some fan films that are terrible, like absolutely terrible. I'm not crapping on the work that goes into fan films. I'm not going to crap on people who work very hard to make those fan films look good. But sometimes when I watch a fan film, I'll look at it and go, wow, that was bad. Inhumans felt like a bad fan film. It felt like a fan film that was filmed for literally 25 cents. Like, that's what it looked like. It just was, it was, oh, I don't want to even think back to it. And that CGI hair on Medusa, oh my gosh. Anyway, all right. And the final question, what do you think went wrong with The Amazing Spider-Man 2, and could we ever see another Spider-Man movie with Andrew Garfield? As far as another Spider-Man movie with Andrew Garfield, I don't know. Anything is possible, but I highly doubt it. What do I think went wrong with The Amazing Spider-Man 2? It's the fact that they hired the same dudes who wrote Transformers, Revenge of the Fallen, Star Trek, what other crappy action movie did they write? Let's take a look at their filmography here for a second. Alex Kurtzman and Roberto Orsi are the two guys who wrote. They are the two guys who wrote The Amazing Spider-Man 2. They wrote films. Okay. They wrote Cowboys and Aliens, bad. Legend of Zorro, bad. Mission Impossible 3, bad. Star Trek, terrible. Star Trek Into Darkness, okay, it was pretty good. Transformers 1, pretty fun. Transformers Revenge of the Fallen, bad. So you combine those with the fact that they also and also the fact that Sony basically told Mark Webb that he had to cram in as many references to their cinematic universe as possible, and the fact that they rushed the Green Goblin, and the fact they made Peter Parker's parents spies, and the fact that Peter Parker is basically the chosen one, it just went to shit real quick. Let's just say that. It became a flying mess. Now, I will admit, when I first saw the movie, I loved it. I really loved it. I thought it was one of my favorite Spider-Man movies. And then I got the movie on Blu-ray, and I watched it, and I watched it again, and I watched it again, and I watched it again. And the more I watched it, the more I flippin' hated it. But this isn't a review for The Amazing Spider-Man 2, is it? If you want that, go to Throwback Thursday. Screw The Amazing Spider-Man 2. Anyway, guys, that will do it for this episode of the Webslingers podcast. Thank you guys so much for listening. Please make sure you guys go check out a brand new episode of Throwback Thursday as the review of Godzilla King of the Monsters. And also make sure you guys go check out a brand new episode of the Zeke Central Show. We are reviewing Godzilla vs. Kong on that episode. And also tomorrow there's going to be a special spoiler-filled review for Godzilla vs. Kong. So make sure you guys go and check that out. So, with all of that out of the way, thank you guys so much for listening, and I will talk to you guys later. Peace out.